women's bodybuilding, professional bodybuilding. Now Iris Kyle is one of the main characters in the film right now. So you cover her story.
Yeah.
Now she's the best in the world.
Yes, she is.
Statistically, she won the most Olympias. She has the best physique of all time.
Yeah.
2 years ago they stopped doing women's Olympia and women's Arnold. So basically, she's the best in the world, but she has no stage to compete on.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I always knew that was going to happen. I always thought it sucked for the women. I mean, they have to go through everything we went through, even when I was competing, and I was competing with, same time that Ken Chevesky and Linda Murray and all those guys, young ladies, and they never got the pay that we did, and it always kind of bothered me. And here you have Iris, she won the Arnold Classic when I was winning the Arnold Classic, and here I am making, 3 times more than her, and she has to do the same thing I did. So I never thought it was a fair deal, for the women. So I knew that was coming down the pike, and I even remember a year that Kim Chevesky competed in Olympia, and she actually had to donate some of her money back to the sport just to have the show and a platform to compete in. So, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I think it's BS. It's supposed to be a sport of bodybuilding, not whether you're well liked, or you have the best attitude in the world, or you have the prettiest hair, or you're the most beautiful. It's called women's bodybuilding, right? So it's to build your body. If not, call it something else. But don't have the sport, be built on these years of women's bodybuilding and then shut it down because you say they're too muscular. I thought it was about being muscular, and if not, they have bikini rounds now and in fitness and figure and all that stuff. But women's bodybuilding started it, so it's sad. I'm even aware of the situation when she wanted to come back and compete and she wasn't accepted. That's pretty effed up, if you ask me. And I stand behind her 100%. But I think she's a beacon for other women globally around the world. And I had the opportunity of interviewing Iris a long time ago, and she said, what, Flex, it's always been like this. I was a great athlete, and the sport that I was played, I was never given notoriety. I was called the black sheep of my family, and even though I'd done all these great things, she goes, so it's always been an uphill battle for me. So it's nothing different. So she was built for this. She was built to handle these adversities and stuff like that, and she's done it like a champ that she is. Man, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether she's able to give a platform to compete or not. She's still the world's best, so she's noted as the world's best. That's not going to be taken away from her, and she really had nothing to prove to nobody.
Now, when women's bodybuilding first started, right, it was people like Rachel McLeish.
Yeah.
They were kind of dominating the leagues. So what people describe is they were more feminine, right? That's how people describe those type of bodybuilders. Do you think it was somebody's mistake of basically not stopping them at a certain point of getting too muscular? Obviously men got big over the years too.
Sure.
But do you think somebody somewhere in an organization should have prevented them from going forward? Like, how do you think it should have been? Do you think it was right for them to kind of go that way?
Right. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, and I think there's probably a million different opinions. And you ask my opinion, you win the nationals and you turn pro. So to win the nationals, obviously you were good enough to turn pro. Now that you have 20 or 30 of these women that you allow to turn pro standing up there amongst each other, that's what you allow to turn pro. So in my ignorance, if that's not the look, the desire that you want the sport to go through, then why the amateurs looking that way? Change it down to that level and let it move up. But don't find fault when you have all these pro women that you allow to look this way, all stand up on stage. And again, I thought it was women's bodybuilding. I didn't know there was a limit to it. You go back to Kay Baxter. She was one of the most musculars back in her time, just as muscular as a woman now. Also Beth Francis, and not to mention just incredibly globally strong also, but they didn't ding them at all. I actually remember one of the Miss Olympias where Bev was actually in first place over Linda Murray after prejudging, and Linda obviously came back and was able to defeat her, but they had the scores. It was the first year that they had the scores up on a big platform that we could all see, and she was winning. So I mean, I don't get it. Now that you have all these muscular women on stage, it's looked upon that, but I thought it was supposed to be a sport, not a beauty contest or a well-liked contest. I don't give a damn. I really don't, give a damn, whether you're, black, white, gay, straight, you're from Mars and you have antennas in your head. If you're the best, then you're supposed to freaking win, in my ignorance, that's the only way that you'll, enable other athletes to go and literally put their lives on the line to compete in hopes that if they're good enough, they're to win. So that's the way I look at it.
When you were competing and you were kind of interacting, or even right now, basically, you are in the industry, you work in the industry still. Mm-hmm. How do people in the industry react towards women's professional bodybuilding? What kind of things people say about it?
You know what I mean? Back then, I think it was a little bit more accepted. I do remember, conversations I had with Linda Murray. I remember conversations that I had with Laura Cavell and Vicky Gates, and they're all same answer basically was, they liked the way they looked, but a couple of weeks out from the show, they knew they had to change their look to be the best, and that's when they didn't like what they had to do and the body fat they had to lose, but they knew that was the look to win. So they could have easily stopped if that was the look to win, but when a few women tried that, they didn't win because they didn't look in shape enough. So I remember, a very interesting conversation I had with Miss Olympia at that time, and just like, I love our sport, I love the way I look, and but right when it gets around about a month out, I have to change and go deeper, and that's where I don't like it, but I know that's what is required of me to win, and she continued winning. Another Kim Kibesi, Chad Nichols obviously was my coach, and Kim's wife, and they'd come down and stay at our house, and we'd go out to eat, and I remember a few times that Kim was just insulted. She'd go in a women's bathroom and be disrespected, thinking that she wasn't a woman. And I think here's the world's best in the entire world of our sport, but she's not accepted. But I think also that has to do with marketing, on how you market a sport also. And I just think it could have been done a better job at marketing and stuff like that. But it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. It cuts both ways. But again, it's even when you take it deeper, our sport as men, we're not even accepted that much globally. When we're looked down upon, it's really interesting because if you take a woman or a man and you look at the cartoon characters, they look like us. He-Man and She-Ra and all that, they look like us, the modern day us. But when you actually see us walking around, we're not accepted. But in cartoon form or on TV or something like that, we're accepted. So that's like it's almost like a slap in the face, because we are the walking, He-Mans and She-Ras and all that stuff. But when we walk amongst other people, we're not accepted. But I think that's also kind of a complex that people have when they see something, that is better, or it's something that they can achieve. They always want to put it down. It's like the Sunday night quarterback, couch quarterback. I could have made that play, right? That's why you're sitting on a couch watching this guy, do that. So I think that's just, it's our human error. If you see a woman, sees a nice looking woman walk through the door, first thing is like, oh, look at those shoes don't match, look at her hair. And so like, wow, she's good looking. Same thing with a guy, so I think that's just kind of the human, error that we have in us.